Communicate your feelings. Tell me exactly what you're thinking and how you feel. That's okay. Your feelings should be heard, and you're going to create more issues. You're going to build up that resentment if you don't communicate.
What do you say to the guys who say that when they communicate feelings, especially, I guess, in the way that you perceive them to communicate, that would be more like when women talk about men communicating feelings, we normally communicate through anger. So do you mean like in a more feminine way, like being more vulnerable?
Communicating your feelings is not feminine. It's a level of vulnerability, and you have to take out that scaredness, and it's a level of trust that goes into it. So you have to have you have to have a safe partner who's not going to use that against you, your vulnerability. So yeah, I mean, like, it's up to you to do, like, have discretion on who you're going to be vulnerable with, but it's okay to be a little vulnerable. Obviously, you want to have a safeguard so that you can protect yourself, but communicate. And anger and aggression should not be, I shouldn't have to be like, oh wow, he's upset about that because he's, you know, like that anger's coming out. It should, if you're upset, tell me why you're upset, and tell me so that I can make sure that doesn't happen again, or do whatever's in my power to, you know, end that. So
do you think it's acceptable for a man to cry in front of you?
In private.
In front of you?
In front of me?
Yeah. Like, would you, do you believe you would be less attracted to your man?
If he's crying all of the time, then we're going to have to be like, hey, are you okay? Like, what else is underlying to where you're crying all the time? Like, you may have some kind of, like, issues that we need to sort through, or, like, trauma. And that's where, like, that care and concern and that judgment, you take the judgment out of it when that man is crying, and you don't judge him for crying. You get to the root cause of those tears. And then if you love him, you will help him navigate that. And if you don't want to, and you want to judge him for crying, then maybe you're not for him and he's not for you. Or maybe he has some issues and he doesn't want to deal with it. It's all like circumstantial, but those are my beliefs on men crying. If it's in private and it's not a habitual thing, then it's okay for a man to cry.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That was a good explanation.
You're very deep.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. What about you?
Sorry, that took me a minute. Probably listening with not always trying to fix the situation. So if I come and I'm just complaining or talking about something, not trying to constantly like make amends or try to fix it, but just like listen and hear me. Sometimes you're just trying to complain and just give advice when they want to give.
I get that, and I completely understand that. And one of the most interesting things about that, a lot of women say that they don't understand why a man always wants to problem solve. But the interesting thing about that is actually, you know, the reason women are more sympathetic and compassionate is because there's two emotional centers of the brain, and with women it tends to be the mirror neuron system. That's, you see me cry, you want to cry, or you see me going through angst, you feel angst, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. And men, when it comes down to the way we perceive emotion, that mirror neuron system turns on just for a split second. We understand why you feel the way that you do, but then we immediately, another part of the brain is activated that wants to solve problems, and it's really difficult for us to turn it off. So a lot of times when I hear women say that, I just want them to understand that we literally, that's how we solve that's how we interpret your emotion. We want to fix whatever we perceive to be the problem immediately, as soon as possible. Even if you know you just want to rant, we think it's a big deal because you're already complaining about it to begin with. And a lot of times we want peace as well. So we just want to mitigate that as quickly as possible. But that is, I agree with that. A lot of men have to learn to listen sometimes and just let a woman vent.
Actually, I was going to say that, but
So a lot of women say that.
But I'll say something different. Maybe not be so reactionary. Like, this is something like me and my husband have had to work through. Like, sometimes I'll come home and I've had just a crap day, and I'll be like so upset about whatever, and I'm like venting, blah, 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 blah. And then like he'll think that I'm like bringing that to him versus me just experiencing it and wanting to get it out. He'll like be upset with me. Does that make sense? So he'll like react to my feelings, and then he'll think I'm mad at him because I had a crap day, but I'm just really trying to vent it out.
Cognitive
Does that make
empathy.
sense?
Yeah.
I don't know why he does it, but he does it. I still love you, babe.
What I would want men to do more in relationships, that's the question.
Yeah, it's something you wish they did, or something they don't do enough of that you wish they did more of. Either or.
I think in the beginning, just establish that your core values are aligned so that it can be long lasting.
Okay. Okay. Well, why do you say that? What experience do you have?
Let's fix this.
Yeah, just to make sure that you're on the same page so you don't go through like 2 to 3 years and then something crops up and it's like, oh wait, this is one of my core values. We never spoke about this.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
are you with me like if this thing happens?
Ben George donated $69. Men see responsibility from 30,000 feet above and take on a great responsibility. Women see men from 10 feet away and expect them to treat them in kind.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We can continue.
So I think for me, men not expecting perfectionism on, I would say on honest mistakes as opposed to immoral acts. Like, like let's say I went and slashed his tires. Like, okay, like you don't have to forgive me for that. But I had dated a guy one time and I was helping and with the business and stuff. And I was really good at making sales. Like I was really good at it and I still am. But I couldn't close this one guy and he speaks another language. And it was impossible to communicate with him. And at the end, he was like, I can't believe that you didn't do this for me. Like, you are like, so like pitiful. And I was like, I'm a good saleswoman. Like, I'm a good person. I couldn't get that one. Like, I did not speak Mandarin. Like, I can't. And so there's only so much beyond my control. So, being more forgiving of honest mistakes as opposed to immoral, like, oh, you slashed my tires. Like, I don't like that. Like, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Jerk.
Yeah.
He apologized and we had a talk, but I mean obviously we're not dating anymore, but it was just I'm not Superwoman, even though I want to be. Like I'm not, and so it's like there's times where I can't do something like that. I don't speak Mandarin. I would like to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about you?
Wow.
I guess I would love men to work on being more loyal.
That one hit home.
We know why you said that one.
That one hit home.
Wah, wah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's loyal men out there.
I was gonna say have more like sexual discipline, and not in my marriage, because I learned from old relationships. But yeah, like. Wait, am I allowed to say that word?
I guess.
Yeah, just
you
like
said
looking at
corner.
other women and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think
'cause
having more discipline.
I
is
noticed that was
the
a trigger for
big
you.
thing.
I noticed that was a trigger for you when I was talking about the infidelity.
When?
Earlier in the conversation when I was talking about infidelity and you brought up sexual discipline, like you seemed passionate about
Oh, yeah.
infidelity.
I did?
Yeah. Yeah, when we had the conversation, you was like,
When
so
you
are you
guys
just
kinda
saying
had a-
yeah, you was like, are you just saying a man should cheat, dude? So that's coming from
Oh.
experience. You've experienced infidelity.
Yeah, but that I don't think that. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
could be repressed.
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I think it's more just I was like, this doesn't make logical sense to me, or there like something's there's a component missing, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got a question, Maddie?
what about you?
What about me?
I guess it's for men, huh?
Yeah, it was.
What about you for women?
What about me for women? I wish women didn't have unrealistic expectations in terms of expecting men to behave like